welcome to Day 2 of International Leadership Summit 2026 on the theme Leading Through Change, Geopolitics, Technology and Institutional Leadership, hosted by South Asian University in collaboration with New Delhi Institute of Management. We are here at the long-awaited moment of the summit, the keynote session on India's vision for South Asian decade.
To anchor such conversation, we need leaders who have stood at the intersection of the policy and the people, of vision and execution, of national ambition and human compassion. I now cordially invite everyone so that we can begin with the felicitation ceremony.
To express our deepest respect and gratitude to our esteemed guests who have graced us with their presence today, I humbly request Honorable President Professor K.K. Agarwal Sir to kindly felicitate Honorable Minister Shri Jyotiraditya Scindia Ji, Union Minister of Communications and Development of Northeastern Region, Government of India.
Now I request Professor V.M. Bansal, Chairman NDIM, to please felicitate Professor K.K. Agarwal, President SAU.
Now may I request Professor Satya N. Gupta, Chairman, Quantum Computing Research Center, South Asian University, to please felicitate Professor V.M. Bansal, Chairman, New Delhi Institute of Management.
Moving ahead, I request Dr. Vibhash, Program Director, International Leadership Summit, to please felicitate Professor Sonil, Dean, Faculty of Management, SAU.
May I now request Dr. Hanindra Das from Faculty of Management, SAU, to please felicitate Professor Nishi Sharma, Professor, Faculty of Management, South Asian University.
Moving ahead with the program, I now have the honor of inviting a person who needs very little introduction in this room and yet every opportunity to hear his words of wisdom is one we must cherish. He is none other than our Honorable President, Professor K.K. Agarwal. He is the former Chairman of the National Board of Accreditation India and is the founding Vice Chancellor of the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi. He has also served as the Pro Vice Chancellor and as the former Chairman of the Board of the Governors. So with this, I request Sir to kindly honor us with his words.
Honorable Minister Shri Jyotiraditya Scindia Ji, Honorable Minister of Communication, Government of India, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for us to welcome Shri Scindia Ji to this campus of the only international university. Sir, this is the international university which is governed and funded by 8 countries together, and You have seen, you have had a glimpse of the campus, probably the most beautiful campus in the country. We welcome you. I personally have had the privilege of interacting with Scindia Sahib for more than 2 decades now. And by and large, we have been interacting on the matters of education. The concern which he has for education, particularly his focus on student-centric education, which we have been talking all the time. I have seen in in-depth discussions, he would feel, why not this for students? How not this for students? Student-centric education runs through his plan. And that has been my privilege to be working with him for more than 2 decades now. Also, at all the time, he is concerned with the quality of education. Whenever, and I don't know, I personally feel education is his first love. That's my indication. The rest he would know himself. But so much passionate about the quality of education. That's our good luck that he is here today at the second day of the leadership summit. Sir, we are so happy to have you here and request you to find time with a little relaxed time. We would love to see the campus. I have known your taste. You will love the big auditorium we have. You will love the guest house we have. I am very sure of all this. But having said that, I know that today was a very extremely tight schedule, but he managed to be with us. Grateful to you, sir, on behalf of the entire South Asian University. Sir, the title for this summit, Leadership Summit, Leading Through Change. Well, friends, you have been talking the whole day yesterday and today on this summit, on the theme of the topic, Leadership Through Change. Change is something which is, they say, is the only constant today. Everything else is variable, change will remain. And one of the most beautiful things about change today is that it's the fastest ever change in the history of civilization. In the entire history of civilization, we have never seen that fast change which is happening now. I mean, you find yesterday was 10 years back, and tomorrow is coming today after an hour. That's the kind of change which we are witnessing, This is very challenging for our youth. This is very thrilling for our youth. This is demanding very hard work from our youth. This is giving us the confidence to take us towards Vishwaguru. This is also giving us the challenge to ensure that we enable to do that. I have been always saying that our youth, having seen all over the world, our youth is capable of achieving this status for us, provided we ensure that we do not cut their wings. We allow them to fly, and they will fly. I'm sorry, but I would have always been saying it is for the older generation to ensure that the youth is allowed to fly. And they will make sure that we do become Vishwaguru. I have this clarion call today also on this occasion. Friends, when you talk about leading through change, well, change will be required to lead. But one myth is every change is not a good change. For every good to happen, you need a change. So you should be open to change, but should also be able to study what change is good, what change is not very good. And that requires a lot of specialization. You as a leader, you do not become a change agent without work. You just change and you feel you're a leader, that's a myth. I was once coining change as CHANGE. C is core competence. Unless you are competent enough, you cannot be a change agent. H is higher order of learning. Unless you are better learning than others, Unless you're better IQ than others, better EQ than others, better empathy quotient than others, you will not be able to be a change agent. A is adaptable. Unless you know how to adapt to the situation, you cannot be a leader today. N is networking. Today, you cannot do without team spirit. You have to network. And unless you're good in networking, you cannot be a change agent. G is globalization. That's what the theme of the conference also. And South Asian University is the live case study of globalization. 7 countries, how do they work together is visible in this campus. And without globalization, there is no possibility of a change which is constant in this world. And E is finally excellence. Unless you have an eye for excellence, forget about the change agent, nobody will accept your change unless you have an eye of excellence. So if you have all these characteristics, then only you will become a change agent. And I hope through this summit, we have conveyed this signal, which will be further polished up by our chief guest this morning, Scindia ji. I have just one more comment to make before I leave. Connectivity is the crux of the day today for any leadership. And I am so happy, sir. Connectivity, the two connectivities which are very important is physical connectivity and cyber connectivity. Yesterday we had the best leader of physical connectivity in the country, who had made the road network so great today. And today I have the highest leader of e-connectivity in the country, Minister of Communication. So we have all the connectivity in this summit to make sure that our delegates get the best of it. With this, on behalf of all of you, I welcome Shri Scindia ji to this campus and wish you all the best in the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Agarwal, for your words of wisdom, guidance, and encouragement.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of introducing the man whose vision, energy, and commitment to the India's transformation has left an indelible mark on the nation's aviation, communication, and infrastructure landscape. Shri Jyotiraditya Scindia, who is popularly called as Maharaj. He has recently appointed as the Union Minister of Communication and Development of North and Eastern Region, Government of India. He is a 6-term member of Parliament and 5 terms in the Lok Sabha and 1 in the Rajya Sabha, representing the state of Madhya Pradesh. In his tenure as the Union Minister of Civil Aviation and Steel from 2021 to 2024, he played an instrumental role in modernizing India's aviation sector, enhancing connectivity, upgrading infrastructure, and opening up remote areas of India to the air travel, thereby catalyzing the economic growth and the tourism. As a Minister of Steel, he has been the pivotal in driving the policies that strengthen the steel industry, ensuring it remains the competitive on a global scale and contributes robustly to the India's economic framework. He has also made a dedicated effort to boost the green steel sector in India.
Sir's ministerial career reflects a remarkable record of transformative governance across critical career sectors. As Minister of State for Telecommunication, Posts and IT, Sir spearheaded Project Arrow, which modernizes India's postal network. And just yesterday, Sir inaugurated the 100th NGen post office in Shillong. As Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Sir drove significant reductions in transaction costs. Carrying the values of his father, late Madhav Rao Scindia ji, Sir views politics not as power, but as a medium of Jan Seva, public service. With highest esteem, may I invite Honorable Union Minister Shri Jyotiraditya Scindia ji.
Seated on the dais with me, Professor K.K. Agarwal Sahab, who I believe has also taught V.M. Bansal Sahab. And if I may say so, being the vice chair of one of the boards that the institutions that I serve on as well. He has been a great teacher to me as well over the last 20 years. Professor Sunil Kumarji, Dr. Vibhash Kumarji, Professor Dhananjay Singhji, Professor Nishi Sharmaji, faculty, members and leaders from all walks of life present here today. And most importantly, the change agents, not only for India, but for the world, sitting amongst me, my students of the South Asian University. It indeed is my privilege to be here in the hallowed precincts of such a venerable institution. An institution that is forged with cement and steel and the latest equipment, as you can see in this auditorium. But more important than that, an institution that is forged with the common likeness of being of 7 nations across South Asia coming together to flower the next generation of leaders from this Bharat Mata's earth situated on this campus. Now, when we talk about South Asia, we are no longer talking about an area on the global periphery. We are talking about a geography on Mother Earth that houses 2 billion people. A geography on Mother Earth that houses the unique capability of youth. And youth has always been, if you go back in history, not only in the last 100, 200 years, but if you go back in the last 1,000 years, youth has always been at the forefront of change. There is incremental change, and then there is monumental change. And when you look at the paradigms of monumental change that are shifting the curve upwards, not merely an inflection point, those paradigms of monumental change have been seeded always by you. And when I say change, I'm not talking about change only in the business area or infrastructure area. Changes across society, movements across society, changing the world view of the world has always been seeded by you. And if you ask me, the one area of strength and core competency of the South Asian University, and mind you, there is none like this across the world. This is the only institution of its type. The one capability that we see here is, yes, young minds, and when South Asia has a median age of 27, one would like to see an exhibition of that and an exposition of that in our university as well. But those young minds are not only young in their age profile, Those minds are restless. Those young minds are questioning. And those young minds are ambitious. And when you have a chemical equation of the ability to question, the ability to be restless, and one of the biggest virtues of quantum communication are molecules are always restless, and the ability to be ambitious, then you have the formula for exponential change. And that is the true repository and true strength that must be the derivative from this institution. Now let's look at your motto. The motto of the South Asian University is knowledge without borders. And you were probably before your time. Because the world today has become a global village. And it is important in that global village to have a paradigm that rides above everything else, which is the access to knowledge, the ability to be osmotic and gain knowledge must never be restricted. And if I may say, in the current environment, the South Asian University has an even more fundamental role to play. In our own neighborhood, we are seeing today supply chains being disrupted. Economic principles being overturned. Logistics being challenged. And in that environment, this paradigm that knowledge must never be curtailed and it must travel freely across borders, I believe, is fundamental. And it is also fundamental in India's own vision and own articulation for South Asia. We have always believed that India's rise must be accompanied by a rise of peoples and nations across the world. And the importance given to South Asia can be ascertained by the Prime Minister's own oath taking in 2024, when all our regional leaders from South Asia had been invited for the oath taking. Now that is symbolic. It is symbolic of our foreign policy. It is symbolic of the way we Indians imbibe our own philosophy. Not ornamental in our approach, but fundamentally a core part of our architecture. And therefore, our idea, our policy towards South Asia is more of one of a partnership. I recall one of the classic neo-economists, Joseph Schumpeter, who coined the theory of creative destruction, of how old structures must dissipate and give way to new. And that creative destruction always throws up something, not only which is much more consequential to the future, but is not evolutionary, but brings across a new paradigm. And India itself, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, is undergoing through that process of creating a new paradigm. None of us could have thought 12 years ago that from the 11th largest economy of the world, we will be today the 5th largest economy in the world, well on our way by 2030 to become the 3rd largest economy. None of us could have imagined that India would become the 2nd largest telecom mobile manufacturer in the world. None of us could have imagined that India would become the 2nd largest automobile manufacturer in the world. None of us could have imagined that India, which followed the world on 4G, marched with the world on 5G. And I guarantee you, we will lead the world on 6G. To be able to lay out 5G architecture in our country, 450,000 crores worth of capex, 5 lakh towers, in a period of 21 months, the fastest 5G rollout in the world. And today, out of 120 crore mobile customers, 40 crore are already on 5G. And by 2030, that number will go from 40 crores to 100 crore subscribers on 5G. Now, when we talk about global leadership, the telecom equipment manufacturing industry was an elite club of 4 countries. 4 countries, 5 companies. Finland, Sweden, South Korea, and China. In the last 50 years, not even the US of A, or Germany, or any other country in Europe had entered that elite club. And therefore, when the world went from 3G to 4G, and BSNL wanted to do its expansion, the Prime Minister very clearly articulated the vision that if we move from 3G to 4G, I do not want India to be only a services sector giant. We must become a telecom equipment manufacturer, and therefore BSNL's 4G solution should be an Atmanirbhar Bharat solution. And today, ladies and gentlemen, भारत में वो आविष्कार हो चुका है, भारत में वो नवाचार हो चुका है. India has developed its own 4G domestic stack, a combination of a public sector company, CDOT, along with a startup, Tejas, that has come up with the core software, the RAN, the towers, and an Indian SI, TCS, which has laid out already 97,000 towers on BSNL's network based on 4G. 12 years ago, we would have never imagined this. 12 years ago, we would have never imagined that India's space program would reach new heights. Aditya L1 circling the sun. Chandrayaan and Vikram lander planting Bharat's Tiranga on Chanda Mama. हम लोग तो उस जमाने के हैं, not that I want to say how old I am, हम लोग बचपन में चंदा मामा के कॉमिक बुक पढ़ते थे और आज भारत का तिरंगा चांद पर लहरा है. And where? The south pole of the moon. Where if you look at Star Trek and Mr. Spock, to dare to go where no man has gone before. That is what India has achieved. So we are going places. और मेरा सदैव ये स्वभाव और ये मेरा मंथन और मेरा संकल्प रहता है और विचारधारा रहती है कि काल का चक्र घूम के वापस आता है. एक जमाना था जब सोने की पंछी भारत कहलाती थी. विश्व की 25% घरेलू उत्पादन का दर हमारे भारत माता की माटी से आता है. विश्व की 25%, not of the world's growth in GDP, but 25% of the world's GDP. और वो समय वापस आ रहा है. Not only for India, but for the global south. And India as a country under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leading that charge. Our view is a global south view. Our view is a South Asian view. Always has been. हजारों साल पूर्व the winds used to carry our trade to South Asia. हिंदू धर्म विश्व के उस कोने तक पहुंचा है. And if you look at the avatar today, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, we had the leadership of the G20. And what was the first step that PM undertook? The first step was to bring the African nations into the G20. Probably the strongest signal in the world's history of how the global south must attain its rightful place. We had the dreaded COVID, which hit the world like no other malaise has prior to the plague. But even in that environment, a country that would go a-begging for vaccines across the world, that same country made it its testament and its sankalp that we will produce our own vaccines. And in a period of 3 months, we produced not 1, but 2 vaccines in India. But those vaccines were not only for us in India, जहाँ हमारा टीकाकरण मुफ्त में किया गया, 1 नहीं, 2 नहीं, लेकिन 3 टीके. But through Vaccine Maitri, we exported 300 million vaccines across 100 countries across the world. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the new India. An India that rises but ensures that it takes everyone along. Why? Because our philosophy is Vasudeva Kutumbakam. One world, one family. And it is in that process that when India rises, it takes everyone along. When India builds, she builds bridges, not walls. And when India leads, it leads by enabling others to grow. That is our DNA. That is our philosophy. And therefore our concept with regard to South Asia as well is a concept of partnership. It is a concept of leading by example. It is a concept of leading by inclusion and not by exclusion. And therefore, if you look across the globe, our policy has been based on that. If there is something that we can do which will benefit the world, it will be seeded by it. The International Solar Alliance was seeded by India and France. Today, that International Solar Alliance encompasses 150 countries across the world. And not only have we built a solar alliance, but having been power minister in my previous avatar, today we have close to 540 gigs worth of electrical power capacity. And for the first time in the history of India, our renewable capacity in that portfolio is greater than 50%. 260 gigs of renewable power. That is the exponential change that is taking place in it. And therefore, with that in mind, I combine two thoughts. One, of Rabindranath Tagore ji, when he said, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. And the second, the motto of the South Asian University, knowledge without borders. And if you combine those two train of thoughts, you have a very, very powerful ocean for inclusive development and inclusive growth across the world. Now, Professor K.K. Agarwal ji talked about change. And I had the good fortune of being taught at Stanford Business School many, many years ago by the founder of Intel, Andy Grove. And he told us two things which has remained with me ever since. He said, always remember, whatever you do in life, always keep two tenets very close to yourself. The first, the only thing that is constant in the world is change. And the second, even more important than that, only the paranoid survive. So be paranoid. I don't go to sleep at night until two things happen. One, my desk is clear, irrespective of whether it's 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning. And second, I'm satisfied that I've done whatever best I could during the day. And to the two things that Professor Andy Grove said, I'd like to add my own vignette. अपने जीवन को कर्म अपने कर्म के आधार पर जियो. कभी किसी के प्रति द्वेष भावना नहीं, दुर्भावना नहीं. दो तरीके के लोग होते हैं दुनिया में. एक तरीके के लोग होते हैं जो लगे रहते हैं किसी के लाइन को छोटा करने, अपने लकीर को लंबा खींचो. Your growth must not be at the cost of anyone. Your growth must uplift others. And if If you're able to do that, the only constant in the world is change. Only the paranoid survive. But if you're able to do that, always remember that the softest pillow when you hit your bed at night, the softest pillow is a clear conscience. Because at the end of the day, you've got to be able to see yourself in the mirror. You can lie to everyone else, but you can never lie to yourself. And therefore, I tell my young students here today, and there are those that are going to pass through these hallowed precincts and be the change makers in the world. And then there are those that are going to go from their first year into their second year through their journey. And to both I say, take a pause, understand what this institution represents to you in your lives. And I will say this on the stage today, that I have been as impacted as I have been by my mother, by my father, as impacted as I have been by my teachers who have taught me. Because teachers don't just teach you pedagogy. Teachers don't just teach you curriculum. Through their actions, through their leadership, through their values, through their beliefs, you develop your own set of values and your beliefs. I've always believed that your teacher is your parent away from your home. And therefore, to my students, I say, take a pause. Understand the foundation on which this institution has been built. Knowledge without borders, dialogue without prejudice, and leadership that is humane, leadership that is thoughtful, and leadership that is inclusive. Always remember in life that as you rise the pyramid of leadership, always remember that you're only as strong as the weakest link in your chain. And therefore, build strength across every part of your team. Build relationships with every part of your team. Be both empathetic and sympathetic. Your team has to be your family. And if you're able to engender that bhavana in your team, then you will be a leader, then you will be a change maker. My final word of advice, Professor Agarwal said, the future used to be a decade away. Then the future was a year away. Then the future was an hour away. Now the future is now. But do not wait for that future. You need to build that future. You need to be the architects of that future. And therefore study with seriousness, debate with respect, and finally, you must dream with courage. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, sir, for inaugurating the spirit of doing something along with the leaders of the nation. It is my privilege to welcome a leader whose life's work embodies the very ideals we have deliberated upon today. Dr. B.M. Bansal, former IAS officer and chairman of New Delhi Institute of Management. With over 17 years of experience with the DDA, Sir has brought New Delhi Institute of Management to its prominence. I warmly invite Sir for the concluding remarks.
Friends here, I don't think you could have a better lesson in leadership that you had just now from Hon'ble Scindia ji. In fact, I had a great pleasure of earlier having served his great father, having been in Delhi now for the last 45 years. So I know what leadership role he brings in, his family has been bringing in. So we are all extremely grateful today that he could spare his time and he could really share his life's great learnings with all of you, starting from his Stanford days. And the final word that he mentioned, that future is right now. Future is today. Future is not today, it is now. So if you start thinking of those lines, I don't think we'll have better lessons in leadership that today's summit here brings in. So we're extremely grateful to him, K.K. Agrawal sir, which I mentioned, has been my teacher. And the thought process which the chief guest has given, let me be very honest, I never had such an idea or dream or vision when I handed over this land to SAU almost 20 years or 17 years back. I never had thought of all those things. When we sanctioned the land use plan or changed the land use plan of this land, today I really feel privileged that I too was a small component into the making of this university. So it will not take more time. The minister has to go somewhere else. Thank you very much. It has been tremendous learning and we'll keep in touch. And I'm sure you're taking strong leadership lessons with us in the coming days. Thank you so very much, everybody associated with the SAU, all the teachers, all the students, all the staff. NDIM and SAU have done this great, wonderful job for 2 days. And I'm very sure in the coming days, we will build on this learning, we will build on this leadership acumen that we have created, the thought process that we have created. We'll take it forward in the coming days, coming years in a very big way. Thank you very much. All the best to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful concluding remarks. Now I invite Professor Nishi Sharma from the Faculty of Management to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Minister Scindia sir, President South Asian University, NDIM Chairman Bansal sir, Dean Faculty of Management, invited speakers, delegates, deans, faculty, administrative officials, and dear students. A very warm and respectful welcome to you all. At the outset, there was a certain change because sir has to go somewhere. So we thought that we will cut this vote of thanks ceremony. So, but Scindia sir has named a Matra Shakti. And sir, surely this Matra Shakti will try to deliver vote of thanks to such an eminent personality within a few seconds. Honestly speaking, today is a very special day for all the management fraternity because we used to discuss about strategic vision, strategic thinking, resilience, leadership, and of course, all the decision-making capabilities. But that is always through some kind of theories or the case study. Today is a very special day because we could witness each and every value in a single person, embodied in a single person. A person who has set up all the legendary achiever, I must say, because at the age of 30s, he has established himself as a very strong, powerful, and of course, a very renowned leader all over the world. And sir, honestly speaking, we all have heard you a lot through audiovisual platform. But listening to you in person is really mesmerizing, sir. We are really very, very honored to have you. And one more thing, sir is always known as being a youth icon. But when sir said regarding Chandan Mama's story, at that moment of time, he connected to every one of us. No matter whether we are a student or a faculty member, of course, we have a connect with you, sir. So, echoing sound of loud of applause in the entire hall was just a witness that the sir's thought is a resonance of not only youth generation, but of course it is across the generation. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. We are really very grateful to you that you, from your busy schedule, you could spare time for us. And of course, sir, what you said that you used to clear, you not sleep till the moment your desk is clear. of course, as a faculty member, as a student of South Asian University, and of course NDIM, we promise that we will also imbibe that feature within us. And the dream that 25% GDP or more than that, India will contribute to the global. Of course, we will, you instill the confidence, you infuse a sense of ambition and inspiration to all of us that we can also contribute creative steps. Now we will not, of course, try to speak no lies to anyone else. Thank you so much, sir. And I sincerely request from the South Asian University that you please allow us to have the privilege you again and again. Thank you so much, sir. Secondly, with a few more lines, I would like to thank to Honorable President, sir, because Faculty of Management remains always indebted to sir. It's sir's vision. It's a Faculty of Management, we can say, is a brainchild of sir. We all are here just because of sir. It is his strategic visioning. And of course, we are very much thankful to you. And as sir's enduring commitment, enduring inspiration words, and of course, the patronage he always showered to us. And that is the reason why we try to think beyond the classroom. And this particular leadership summit is also an evidence that we are thinking beyond this particular. And at the end, I would like to thank Bansal sir, Dean sir, invited guests, all the deans, faculty member, and administrative officer, and of course the student. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.